Hello and welcome, folks, to episode 32 of the Ministry of Dice podcast. We're a UK-based podcast talking about all things Dice Masters in the United Kingdom. I'm Chris, otherwise known as the True Mr. Six, and with me today I have Andy.
AKA DJ Youth.
DJ Youth. You spell that Y-O-O-F.
Wicked fidget spinners.
In it.
I be for rock and roll.
Mate, we're so street. We've nearly got lampposts on our back.
I was wearing my Heelys with my beard.
Little known fact for listeners, actually.
Here we go.
Talking about the youth. Andy is a big unknown proponent of the hipster revolution that's taken place in recent years. His well-known interest in vegan foods, artisanal shops and craft beers all started with a little blog he used to write called beardsareus.com. And so that was just the comedy value of the site and the great advice about how to deal with digestive vegan issues, and the morning after challenge of drinking craft ales. It proved very popular with the beardy lumberjack shirt wearing crowd, and Andy is quietly known as the Lord of all hipsters.
It's true. Keeps the mortgage paid.
True story.
There is nothing like wearing a suit and a nice pair of smart shoes with no socks.
Yes, while eating vegan falafel.
Yeah, and picking it out of my beard.
Yeah, lovely times.
Woo!
Anyway, mate, how are you doing?
I'm good. You right?
Yes, I'm okay, my man. I'm okay. Plodding on. I'm quite tired tonight. I've done a lot of driving today.
Have you? Where have you been? What have you been doing?
I've been to Huddersfield.
Ew.
Yeah, no, it was all right. I had a job interview.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, these night shifts are getting on my nerves. I'm looking for another job.
Well, you heard it here. If you've got a job opening and you're in the north, then give us a shout.
Absolutely. So I'm a little tired, but I'm getting on all right. We're not recording on our normal night either, which is kind of spinning me out.
It is weird.
Yeah, I'm going north of the wall on Wednesday morning to the cold northerly climes of Scotland. I'm going to be in TJ Land.
TJ Land.
Yeah, TJ Land. So a very busy week. So we're recording out of sequence, which has completely freaked me out. But otherwise, I'm okay. What have you been up to then this last 2 weeks, my man, since we last recorded? Anything interesting to report to the listeners?
No, I've been boring.
You went and saw Wicked.
I did go and see it. Reinvigorated my passion for the theatre and performing arts. I might have to audition for a play or two.
Yeah, that probably would have been my better little known fact opportunity there.
That is true, though. I'll keep you updated, listeners.
Yes, absolutely. Blew my load a bit early then, doing the hipster thing. Yeah. There's so many more humorous interludes I could have done around your love of the theatre. No one mourns the wicked. That's my wife likes that one. That's
what, the one. Wicked?
Yeah, it's the Wicked Witch of the West, isn't it? The behind the scenes story of the Yellow Brick Road, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's really good. So yeah, enjoyed that. That wasn't really gamer related, but I'm sure everyone's interested in my private life. What else? Son had a birthday party. Took him to a little kind of five-side football place. And he had a little football party there. That was nice. But no real gaming. No gaming at all, actually, other than a few little games. Although we have been playing our Golden Escalation teams. We should have a little natter about that in the intro later on.
Yes, we can have a little chat about that, certainly. Yeah.
Because the worm has definitely turned. Definitely turned. And I need the listeners' help because I am struggling. I've gone from, I'm making the hand gesture, but you're not going to see it, up here to down here in a very quick period of time.
Yeah, okay, we'll have a little natter about that in a second. Well, you know, you've got your real life interfering with your nerd life there, but I've been actually quite nerdy in the last 2 weeks since we've recorded. So I got my wife keeps insisting on trying to get me to make friends with the dads and other parents of the kids that my kids play with. So we ended up getting invited around to this party, and the hashtag competitive wife in her ill judgment decided to point out that I'm a big board game fan and I could bring some games around for us to play. which pained me greatly.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I'm introducing board games to people who don't play them. But I went pretty lightweight. I took Cards Against Humanity. I took the F-Word game. I think I've mentioned that one before. And I took a game called One Night Ultimate Werewolf. Are you familiar with that one?
I'm not, but I'm interested to hear what that's all about.
Yeah, so it's quite relatively well known. It's a kind of party-ish game type thing. Obviously, I took it to a party. Everybody gets a card. That card is their secret character. 2 of the cards are werewolves. The rest of the cards are members of the village. The werewolves are terrorizing the village, and the aim of the game is to go through a deduction process to figure out who the 2 werewolves are. So the werewolves win if they manage to blag away that they're not werewolves, and the villagers win if they manage to catch the 2 werewolves. That's the aim of the game. So there's an app that kind of plays a kind of routine where you go through kind of like covering your eyes, and different people can open their eyes at different points in time. That then is where you start to gather information to help you determine who the werewolves might or might not be. And then you just go through a big kind of debating process to figure out who the werewolves are, which can get very animated at times. So yeah, it's very quick, very punchy. It takes about 10 minutes to turn around. The rules are straightforward enough to explain to a group of non-gamers who were drinking, as was the case at this party, but also got enough tactical depth that it kind of switches people on and gets them interested.
How to get on playing with non-gamer types?
Yeah, all right. You know, it's that thing, isn't it, when where it's you're doing the small talk because it's not people that you know well or see outside of the school gate encounter, you know.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of that kind of stuff going on. But so the game kind of helped in a way because it was a nice icebreaker,
Cool.
and it allowed us to get involved. But it's a great game. I'd recommend it to anyone. I play it with my wife and kids, although my son's not very good at. You know, he'll be like, "I'm the werewolf." I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're supposed to. He also, when everyone's got their eyes shut, he got caught by my sister-in-law one time, reaching over the table and peeking at other people's cards while everybody's eyes were shut. So I still need to do a bit of work with the 5-year-old, the mini Mr. 6. But yeah, it comes recommended. MOD seal of approval on that one for anyone who's interested.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, let's have that global escalation chat then, my man.
Let's do it.
So it's the intimidating Punisher team that you've been tinkering with and playing with. I've been tinkering with the rare Pyro from X-Men First Class. If anybody's not fully aware of or missed a couple of episodes, I suggest you go back to episode 29, where the kind of kickoff of this little global escalation team challenge started to get a full sense of what's going on. So we had our weekly catch up where we played the 2 teams against each other, and as you say, the worm turned.
It did indeed. You put in the what's her name? Is it Jean Grey?
Jean Grey, yeah.
X-Men First Class, where when active you can just do a bolt to spin something up and down, and that just sped up your Pyro team no end.
Yes, I mean she comes at a high cost. I had to not sweat some of the smaller, earlier damage that you were doing to me, knowing that, you know, I was working on my ramp to be able to afford, because Pyro's a 5 cost, Jean Grey's a 5 cost. Jean Grey's got a hefty fielding at her top level as well at 3, so I knew that I had to kind of knuckle down and concentrate on my ramp and just kind of hope for the best in the meantime. So I'm still not entirely comfortable with it, but when it goes off, boy, does it go off.
Yeah, because you row up your bolts, you spin them up, that's what, 8, 9, 10 damage, and then you use another one to spin them down, and you use another one to spin them up. And it put me right on the back foot. I was doing pretty well with the Punisher. I tried a few new things out. I was getting fed up with all the direct damage, so I subbed in to the team Iron Fist, the Immortal, the OP, which reduces damage by 1, along with Captain America Super Soldier, which reduces damage to 1. I'm sure more experienced players will know that combo quite well.
Yeah.
So threw that on there to just kind of shut down your direct damage approach, but found out it slowed the team down no end when you're looking for, you get your Swarmers out and your Collector, and then those two, it just kind of ground it to a halt. So I was trying to get the Iron Fist out first and kind of rush through to get the Iron Fist and Captain America out as soon as possible, but losing maybe kind of 3, if 4 turns, getting them out and into the field and at that point, then starting to kind of build up with the swarming fists, and it just did not work, and it wasn't going anywhere, and it was just causing problem after problem. And then you would just get rid of a swarmer off the field, so I didn't have any way of churning through my bag, or you captured or did some horrible shenanigans to get rid of my collector. And that's the weaknesses I found, is that the swarmers work, but if the one in the field that's causing the swarm gets taken out of the picture, then I've not got enough energy or characters to do the Punisher, field and push. And if collector's taken out of the equation, then I've got to try and kind of build up to another 5 cost to get him round again. And it's easily shut down once you know how it's played. So I need some variances. I did change in for a couple of staples of the of Global Escalation. So I realised that speed was more of my friend than protection. So I brought in PXG, the old and beautiful one, and what was the other one I brought in? Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes, and quite versed in how to PXG, field sidekick, ping off, buy something on the cheap, get all your sidekicks out of the use pile, get everything through again. And with those 2 pieces, the team became very, very effective because it was quick. I didn't really need the swarmers because it was just the swarmers were just the bodies. They weren't actually swarming because I never really had enough in the used pile to properly bring that into effect. But you could get the collector out quick, and then a bunch of cheapy characters, collector and the Punisher, and bish bash bosh.
Yeah.
The losh dosh bosh.
I made very good use of that PXG though too.
You did.
Yeah.
And Blue Eyes. I mean, it's the thing is, if your opponent's team can benefit from that significantly more than your own team, then you're in trouble.
Yeah, and having all those sidekicks rolling, I didn't have to pursue my own ramp so much as make use of your PXG, and my Techno Global was still just as handy,
That's super lethal.
Yeah, so that's where we're at. I'm still not convinced by the Pyro team. In fact, I think I like a couple of the other Global Escalation teams that we've been playing around with. That sidekick one I've made, I'm really into.
I'm not.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one maybe in a future episode. So there you go, folks. There's the Global Escalation update. So, although we plan to do a bit of modern this week, haven't we? Because I've got a tournament coming up in a couple of weeks that I want to get some practicing for. So
get you ready to dominate the northern competitive scene.
Yeah, I don't know if the team's right. I played it against our man Ben Scott, the Canadian national champion, on Hangouts the other night, and he schooled me hard.
Yeah, well, he schools everyone hard.
Well, true that. Yeah. Hey, I tell you what, just moving on, should we talk Who Are You right now?
Yeah, let's put the theme tune in nice and early because we always forget to do it now.
Alright, we'll drop it in now.
Who are ya? Who are ya? Who are ya?
Yeah, so the Who Are You challenge. So last week we had 2 Who Are Yous. One that we had some correspondence for. That was Philip over in Sweden. And then we had our Netherlands listener who didn't come out the woodwork. Or, well, I say that, didn't come out the woodwork in time. So we'd like to take a posthumous...
Nice word.
Yeah, well, I think posthumous means dead, actually. When they're dead, so that's probably not the right.
That's the wrong word then.
It's probably the wrong word. Because Peter from the Netherlands, hello, he reached out and said, "Oh, I'm a bit behind on my episodes. I've just listened. I'm your Netherlands listener." So Peter came out the woodwork. Hello, Peter. This is your official Who Are You shout out. So we're going to take back the Who Are You fail from last week and count it as a 2 for 2 in our last episode.
Excellent.
I don't know if
he was actually on our last episode as well.
He was indeed, because Peter competed in the Central European Nationals. Yeah. So, in fact, that was the reason why I'd not listened to the episode yet, because he'd been at the Nationals. So, there you go. However, call out asking to discover who the listener in Peru is has been a fail.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll put in the fail noise now. So, yeah, whoever you are in Peru, just a quick call out. We're interested to know who you are. Give us a shout, but, you'll be late now. On to this week's Who Are You? And we're going to bring it back to the home shore.
We are indeed. So, for the last 7 days, the top city is Umeå in Sweden. So, we're guessing that Philip from from last episode's been listening away avidly, or he's built up a pretty chunky Dice Masters community in the last couple of weeks.
I think he's told all his friends and family he got a call out on a podcast, and they've all just been listening to the first 10 minutes just to hear us mention his name. So yeah, but our second highest is Harlow in the United Kingdom.
Hello.
So we had a little look on Google Maps and discovered that, well, we wonder if maybe that's one of the players or the player base that get together at Calamity Comics over in Hatfield. I don't think that's too far away from Harlow. But in any case, give us a shout and let us know, and we'll give you a shout out on the next episode. You can get in touch with us through the BritRoller6.com website by hitting the contact us button. Go to Facebook, search for the Ministry of Dice, or give me a call out on Twitter at the BritRoller Mr. 6. Let us know who you are, where you play, and we'll give you a shout out on the next episode.
Yeah, it's in Essex, isn't it?
Yes, indeed it is. Yeah, and I think it might be one of Eric's, or even Eric himself out of Calamity Comics. But we'll see. We'll find out.
White stilettos all round.
Very good. All right then. See, what was it? What he was like? Have you ever seen Chris Pratt do his Towie impression?
I've seen that little clip on Facebook. Yeah, it's funny.
It's good. It does make me chuckle. Do you watch Towie?
No,
me either.
I was in it for a couple of years. Another little known fact.
Yes, I remember actually. Yeah.
Do you remember? Yeah.
I remember, but wasn't there a bit of a tabloid scandal surrounding it?
Yeah, there was.
About the way you left the show. I mean, I think it's awful what you did to that cameraman, but
it was all blown out of proportion.
I said I'd never bring that up with you again.
You did, and you have.
Yeah. Well, you started it.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about what we've got coming up in this episode. So we are going to take a few moments to have a bit of a chat about the Organised play card spoilers that hit the internet. I don't know. Last week?
Yeah, boobs.
Yeah, the boobs cards. Although I must admit we're a bit behind the curve, because I think every man and his dog has spoken about these OP cards before we've got around to having our little chat about it. Very sad news.
Fast forward through that. Yeah.
Yeah, very sad. Very sad news though is that, so just talking about people who've spoken about the OP cards, the latest Double Burst episode where they discuss the Organised play cards that I was listening to the other day, at the end of it they announced that they're going to wrap it up in 2 or 3 episodes time on episode 120.
Oh no!
I'm beside myself, man. I'm beside myself.
You're going to try and replace me with KO King?
Yes, I think me and him can milk a little bit more conversation out of Black Manta and Rarecrow. I think there's more territory to be covered in that space there.
Don't even think about it.
No, but I don't know where Ben Scott's going to get his team ideas from if those guys wrap up the podcast.
From us, as we will be the forefront of Dice Masters podcast. We will be the best podcast, won't we?
You and I both know that people do not listen to us for team advice. But in any case, we're going to have a bit of a discussion about the Organised play card spoilers, and then we have our next contender on the Ministry of Dice, the Bar. Yeah, so I won't spoil it now, but stay tuned to find out who we've got on. We have a little bit of a chat with that particular individual, and we put them through their paces in the 2-minute quickfire round, and that'll bring us to the close of the episode. So once again, a packed episode for your auditory enjoyment. I'm tired, man.
Yeah. Should we get on with the show then?
Is auditory the right word? Yeah, let's get on with the show. Auditory. Yeah, that's ear, isn't it? Ear stuff.
Some good footage.
Some good footage indeed. On with the show!
This is London calling. Here is the news.
Yes, that's right, folks. It's time for the news. And the big news to call out in the 2 weeks since our last episode went out was there's been some Organised play promo set spoilers hit the tinterwebs.
Woohoo.
Very exciting stuff. So first things first, if you want to go and take a look specifically at the spoilers, our colonial friends, the lads over at dm-north.com, with a little bit of help from the Dice Coalition crowd who pulled the info together. In fact, those guys, they're very sharp at spotting bits and bobs on solicit pages and dark corners of the WizKids website, I've noticed.
Is that Jordo?
Yeah, Jordan. Hi, Matt, and CCM 0007. I like saying that. 0007. Yeah, I don't know. You'll have to get in touch and explain that online handle to us one day, man. I'm curious. Anyway, head on over to dm-north.com. They've got some pictures of a handful of the cards, but that's the big news, that there's organised play, winter organised play packs coming out starting in January and then running one set a month for 4 months up until April. January's is called Super Spies, February's is Stark Industries, March is City Slingers. Couldn't get my tongue around that for a minute. And then April is the Marvel Now Heroes, which I think is very exciting news.
Yeah, definitely. It answers a lot of questions about if there's going to be any competitive play support coming up in the future.
Yeah, we'll have a little chat about that in a second. But I suppose the first thing to address, do they look like decent cards, do you think, my man?
Oh, mate, they look wicked.
Yeah.
As they say in the streets.
Wicked, innit? They look sick.
Sick, bruv.
Yeah, they look lit, I think, is a thing.
Lit.
Yeah.
Eat, sleep, Dice Masters, repeat.
Well, in any case, yes, they do. I agree. I think they look pretty decent. The ones that we've seen game text for, of course. So they follow the standard organised play pattern. You have a large batch of participation cards for just turning up and attending the organised play event. These appear to be alternate arts of existing cards. I've not checked the subtitles on them, but that seems to be the case. Then you have two smaller batches of well, I suppose it depends on your store. At my FLGS, we tend to award first place one of each, and then the fellowship award one of each. It tends to be how we do it. And then one single OP pack with 8 players with the participant, because we tend to get around 8 to 10 players, will get us through 2 events normally if we do it that way. And then the surplus sort of gets chucked into like a reserve binder for when we do bigger events, kind of thing. So I suppose it depends how you store. There probably is an official way they're supposed to distribute them, but that's how we do it at Element Games where I play. So that's pretty cool. The one that stands out. Well, which one do you think stands out?
Boobs.
Yeah, the boobs. So, yeah, it's very initially eye-catching. Don't know where to go with that. So this is Black Widow. Yeah.
Yes. So January 2019, Marvel Dice Masters Super Spies. Shall I run down what we get in the pack?
Yeah, rock with it, man.
Let's do it. Right, 20 limited edition alternate art Nick Fury participation cards. Doesn't say which one, but I bet it's going to look cool. If it's in the vein of that Black Widow card, it's going to look awesome. You get 5 copies of a brand new limited edition Marvel Dice Masters Black Widow Agent competitive prize card that we can see. We've got 5 copies of a brand new limited edition Marvel Dice Masters Captain America Trained Operative competitive prize card, which could be awesome as well. Or maybe it'll just look like a super soldier. And an instruction sheet, which I'm sure will be very exciting. Just one instruction sheet.
Yeah, I've been collecting those from the beginning. I've got quite an impressive collection of OP instruction sheets.
Nerd.
Yeah, innit? If I was a betting man, I'd probably say the Nick Fury will be the one from the Mighty Thor set.
Yeah?
If I was a betting man. Yeah, only because it looks like the Black Widow is using the Black Widow dice from Avengers Infinity, so I think they go for the more recent dice. That said, the X-Men promo set, if I remember correctly, the Mystique in there used an older Mystique dice.
Yeah, I think in some of the comments, I'm sure I read that it's all from the new Avengers Infinity set.
There isn't a Nick Fury in the Avengers Infinity set.
Then I made that up. You heard it here first.
Yeah. But that Black Widow, the game text is actually there's a lot going for it really, but the game text is actually really quite eye-catching.
Is it eye-catching?
Eye-catching indeed. It reads, while Black Widow is active, reduce damage from opposing characters' abilities by 1. Your opponent cannot target Black Widow with global abilities. She's a 3-cost fist, and she's got 2 affiliations, Shield, Agent, and Avengers. So, I mean, tons going on with that card there. I love the fact that it says reduce damage from opposing characters' abilities by 1. So, in the past, again, I should have checked this, but doesn't Iron Fist only block damage to you?
Oh, good question.
And not your characters?
I can probably answer that question. Have you got it there?
Yeah, I'm just looking now. Iron Fist the Immortal. Oh no, it is a direct replication of the Iron Fist. I tell you what, I'm thinking a Super Soldier, aren't I? Probably.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Although character abilities also includes globals, doesn't it?
Maybe.
As per the ruling on Fiendish Fighter, what was that? What's Fiendish Fighter?
I don't know. We get ourselves in trouble when we try and talk about this stuff.
Doom Caliber Knight's Fiendish Fighter. To the ruling back in 2017, it references to character abilities and it also includes global abilities. Do you like that? That was my first impression of a rules lawyer.
Of a rules lawyer, yeah. Yeah, it was very good, mate.
Thank you.
Yeah, very good. You should have
Cool.
You should have your own podcast or something.
That one.
Yeah, indeed. So, what are we talking about? See, we get in trouble when we start talking rulesy and stuff. When we start talking rulesy and stuff. But the fact that she reduces ability damage by 1 at a 3-cost purchase is a very attractive proposition, especially when we're seeing lots of things like Tune immediately springs to mind.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons, it's very high-powered piece of game text at the minute. Infiltrate is something that springs to mind. You know, people using Throne Brick Ramp would find themselves in a bit of a tricky spot.
That Poison Ivy that you've latched onto.
Actually, hang on, sorry, ignore that. It won't work for Throne Brick. That's an action. It's not character ability.
It would do that Poison Ivy, wouldn't it?
Which one?
The one that you keep using that's really, really annoying.
I've got one in each of my teams right now.
The one that does damage when you KO
well, see, that
villain or something?
Just for a momentary tangent, that one that you're talking about specifically is lose life.
Oh, so it wouldn't?
Yeah, so it wouldn't. But if you're thinking about the one that does damage when you field a villain, that's in the other team, that you also faced recently, then yes, that would. That would stop it. Yeah.
So yeah, good back. January 2019. See it on the UK shores, January 2023.
What are you talking
or
about?
On Steve Clegg's team after he's eBayed it from US in February 2019.
Yes, well, it won't be from the US. It'll be from this. So nobody else will probably appreciate this, other than a very small circle of UK players will get what I'm talking about. It'll be from Spain.
Ops.
Yeah, there's some dude in Spain who's got a great line on OP cards on eBay that all the UK players go to, because that is an issue. That's something that on our sweet little island, and I think it's also the case across the main body of Europe, is that OP sets are sporadic sometimes. They're hard to get hold of. Stores insist that they're ordering them and they're never arriving. And it's a weird situation around OP cards over here. So yeah, that will be a concern. We welcome any international donations, and while I'm on that subject, thanks once again to Zach, who's been supplying OP cards this side of the
Thank
water.
you.
Thank you, Zach. Yeah, we love you. So yeah, that is a bit of an issue. However, yeah, in the big picture, as you mentioned before, Andy, it's quite a promising sign. There was a lot of concern when Justin was talking up moving the game more towards the casual kitchen table player, that's his bread and butter, and so that's what the drive towards the collector's boxes and the team packs were all about. And there was quite a bit of concern that might mean that this sort of stuff, organised play promos that are built around competitive events at a local level, might diminish or disappear. And well, that seems to be a strong first sign out of WizKids that that's not the case.
Yeah, definitely, especially with the ability being as good as it is, it's going to make people who have maybe played the game over the past few weeks because they've just got hold of the set think, actually, yeah, I need to go to my gamer store because I want that Black Widow because it's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It is amazing. So, yeah, it's a very positive first sign, and I welcome it for sure. Having a local scene that plays regularly at a store. This sort of thing generally, well, I mean, I was going to say it generally does attract players. We, largely speaking, are able to attract players because we've organised stuff ourselves to make prizing fun and interesting. But this will definitely catch the eyes of my local players. There's no doubt about that.
Cool beans. Right, should we go on to the next one?
Yes, if you want to, yeah. You do this one.
Okie doke. So, February 2019, Stark Industries. It contains the following: 20 limited edition alternate art Pepper Potts participation cards. Say that 3 times quickly. 5 copies of a brand new limited edition Marvel Dice Masters Iron Man Armor Supply competitive prize card. 5 copies of brand new limited edition Marvel Dice Masters War Machine Improv Armor competitive prize card. Don't get an instruction sheet on this one by the looks of it.
Yeah, that's going to be a blow to my collection. That'll irk me.
But this card, the art is wicked.
Yeah, you like that. You like sort of Tony there switching over into his Iron Man armor.
Yeah, I'm a big Iron Man fan, and some of the art isn't that great for him, but that one is cool, and I'm very excited to see because War Machine's one of my favourite characters as well. Hope they do him justice by a suitably cool looking full art card as well.
Yeah, and it looks like as far as the dice are concerned, they'll be from the Iron Man War Machine starter set. So I'd recommend if you've not already got one, because they're in quite short supply. I've found them difficult to lay my hand. I'm looking for a second one, and I find it difficult to lay my hands on the second set of those. So if you're out and about in your local store, make sure you pick one up in anticipation of them coming along.
Yeah, dead smart.
Yeah, right.
Cool.
Shall I jump into March then?
Do it.
So March is the City Slingers, which appears to have a bit of a sort of New York-y, Spider-Man-y sort of theme about them. This includes 20 Alt Art Ricochet participation cards, which I suspect will be the Ricochet from Guardians of the Galaxy set. 5 copies of a brand new limited edition Spider-Man Sneaky Pete. And 5 copies of a brand new limited edition Black Cat Thief. Black Cat Thief is the one that we've been supplied the game text for. Just says Infiltrate.
That's quite cool.
Yeah, I mean, a 3-cost Spider Family character with Infiltrate, with some pretty decent defense stats, is worth looking at if you're playing Infiltrate teams, for sure.
Yeah, looks quite cool. I'm not as buzzing about the art as the first 2, but it's still cool. I like the full art cards, look wicked. I think they should make all cards full art cards. They look so much better with the picture all the way over the card and behind the writing.
I'm quite indifferent about them, mate, but you know, if people like them, fine, you know, crack on. Crack on with that one. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
No worries. Do you want to wrap us up with April?
Will do. So April is the Marvel Now Heroes, or Marvel Now Heroes, or Marvel Now Heroes.
Marvel Now Heroes. So Marvel Now, comic book nerd knowledge. Marvel Now I think was like a sort of publishing, like a distribution range.
Like WWE Superstars.
Like WWE Superstars. Well, so they it was like they relaunched. It's like the New 52 in DC. They sort of did a bit of a relaunch and relaunched a load of titles. One very good one in particular, which I think is the reason why Kate Bishop is one of the cards, was Hawkeye. So it was like I don't know, if you're not a comic book reader, it's probably hard to get your head around, but they brand stuff off. So there's Marvel Max, which is the more kind of darker, more violent stuff. DC had an imprint called Vertigo, which is coming back actually. Vertigo was kind of its more out of the what's the word I'm looking for? Out of the mainstream kind of stuff.
Right.
They just had a really unusual one, which had Gerard Way, who's the lead singer of. Oh, who sang the Black Parade?
I don't know.
Bloody hell, that's going to bug me now. What's the name of that band? They were like an emo-y thing.
Oh, I wouldn't have a clue. What decade are you talking?
Only in the last couple of years.
Oh, I don't know. I stopped listening to music in the 90s.
My Chemical Romance. That's a band, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Those guys. So anyway, total.
You can edit that down, and it will make you sound like you knew it straight away.
Oh yeah, maybe I'll do that. Yeah, they've had an imprint that he was in charge of, which had a relaunch of some. Anyway, I'm totally in the weeds right now. I'm gonna bring.
Is a bit like a reboot, like Total Recall.
No, not always.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, not always. So sometimes it's like a label. They call them imprints. That they may sit in the main narrative of in the main context of the universe, but they've kind of been separated for a particular reason. Another one in DC was called Elseworlds, where they did like an exploration of like alternative reality versions of characters.
Okay.
Like
a subheading.
Yeah, but equally, so like DC the New 52 or DC Rebirth was the name of, like, as you say, like a reboot, like a rebranding.
Cool. Anyway, this pack of Marvel Now Heroes, we've got 20 limited edition Wallop basic action card participation cards. That sounds cool. 5 copies of brand new limited edition Marvel Dice Masters Kate Bishop Straight Shooter competitive prize card, which we've got the spoiler for, and 5 copies of brand new limited edition Marvel Dice Masters Vision Behold. And Kate Bishop has got 3 cost Mask Avenger. When fielded, deal 3 damage to target villain character die. And the global is pay mask. Target attacking character die is no longer attacking. It is removed. It remains in the field zone. So that's the Bistraction global still there.
Well, mate, that's my Batarang and my Bistraction global on one card.
All in one. Yeah.
So in love with that card.
Goodbye, Shriek.
Yeah, Shriek Killer and a Fix-It blocker. Love it.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Well, not good against me because I play Shriek and like to attack, but for you it's well up your alley.
Right, yeah.
Right up.
Yes. Yeah, there was something a little disturbing about the way you said that.
Something disturbing about most things I say. It does have a little bit at the bottom saying targeted removal that will almost always be useful, can KO Shriek at any level.
Yeah.
Fantastic fielding costs with the global that made Hawkingberg into a meta staple.
Absolutely, indeed.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, so the lads at DM North called that one.
It's cool. Yeah, so some really exciting cards coming.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the news, folks. Some exciting stuff coming in organised play. Have a word with your local gaming store to see if you can make arrangements for some of them to be ordered and get some of those events taking place. That's a piece of news that gets the MOD seal of approval. 2 thumbs up, WizKids, on that one.
Oh, we now Dice Tower.
Is that? Do they do that? Do they? I don't really watch the Dice Tower.
I think they do.
Well, our seal of approval means more than Tom Vassal's.
Well, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
We don't even wear hats. Or you wear a hat.
Well, I'm about to say that's inaccurate.
That is inaccurate. Sometimes we are wearing hats.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
that's an insight and a half on it.
Yeah, we need to wrap this segment up. We are like in the weeds.
So what do you think of the new Dice Masters OP cards? Do let us know. Do you wear a hat? Tell us on the usual ways to get in touch and we'll be happy to hear what you have to say.
Okay. Please do. Oh, God.
That's an editing job and a half, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll do that one. Welcome back, ladies and gents, and have we got yet another treat for you here at the Ministry of Dice. We're not just Andy and Chris today, we're actually Andy, and Chris today. Everyone say hello to Andy, the Spuggy Ninja, our current Central European Nationals champion. Woo!
Hey, how's it going?
Yes, going very well. How are you today, Andy?
I'm very well, thank you. Riding high after a triumphant trip to Europe.
Yes.
Somewhat reminiscent of maybe some of our forebears, but let's not go there now.
Absolutely. Well, once again, we mentioned it in the last episode, but once again, congratulations. Well done, my man.
Many thanks. Thank you very much.
We'll have a little bit of a chat about that in a moment. Absolutely. So, yes, Andy Spug here has joined us to have a little bit of a chat about his recent win at the Central European Nats and become our latest competitor in the Ministry of Dice, the Bar. So it's a very exciting segment we've got lined up for you. But just for a momentary patented Chris tangent, the Spug, we, prior to playing Dice Masters together, had in fact met before. So I believe.
This is the story that's been told. but clearly you've got a stronger memory than me, because I don't have such a clear memory of the moment we met, but we did apparently play the very old Star Wars customizable card game, which was produced by, I think, a now defunct company called Decipher in the late 90s.
Yes. Yes.
And we appear to have met over a sweaty table in Leicester.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first time we met playing Dice Masters, I forget where it was actually.
Probably UK Nats.
Possibly UK Nats, but I came up to you and said, "Oh, we've met before. Did you used to play Star Wars down in Leicester?" And you were like, yeah. With a complete vacant expression on his face, Andy. I had no idea who I was. I was like, yeah, I think we played Star Wars against each other. No, nothing. Just absolute blankness, yeah. How could you forget this?
I know. It's it's an insult if I'm honest, but and I'm normally pretty good at remembering faces if I am honest, but I couldn't quite clearly remember the moment. But the more I think about it, the more I think that maybe you do look familiar, and maybe we did indeed face off.
Yeah, back in the days of playing Hoth Atat decks, and yeah, that was a tremendous game. That was.
It is still a brilliant game, and it's still going, remarkably strong. I think, considering they haven't produced a card for it for like 20 years.
No, well, so there was the players committee who they produced virtual cards, which I think were probably just in the early days when we would have first encountered each other playing the game, where they produce a PDF on the internet and you cut out your little bit and stick it at the bottom of the card to change the game text. And that seems to have helped the game survive. But that old crew down in Leicester, they still play, although there's quite a lot of Star Wars Destiny going on.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
But I think because they've just had the World Championships, I think.
Yes, I believe they have. Well, there you go. So, welcome, folks, to the Chris and Scott Star Wars Decipher CCG podcast. Yeah, but more to the point, how you managed to forget this? What did you call me before, Andy? The scruffy Mancunian.
Oh, I didn't think you picked up on that.
No, I heard you. I just sailed right past it. But more importantly, you are the Central European National Champion. Would it be 1819? Would that be right?
1819. Oh, in terms of the time frame?
Or BC?
Like in the future? You what?
No, so just trying to pin down, or would you be the Central European National Champion 17/18?
No, it's just 2018, isn't it?
Oh, is it just the year?
Let's just call it 2018.
2018.
It's easier. I can't get my head around 2 years.
Well, who cares about the year? It's still an extremely prestigious position to be holding. It's such an interesting event, though. Do you want to tell us a little bit about why it was such an interesting event?
Yeah, well, 2 reasons. I think partly one was the qualification process. So they decided that the qualification process was going to be a draft, and they did 2 drafts on the Saturday, with the nationals themselves due to be taking place on the Sunday. The initial draft was a Tomb of Annihilation draft, which didn't go great for me. I ended up going 2-2, which was enough to finish 7th when top 6 qualified for the nationals the next day. But then in the afternoon, we did a Civil War draft simply by reasons of the fact that the store only had enough stock of that particular set to do that. Strange that they should have loads of that one left over. But coincidentally for me, I had done a couple of Civil War drafts back in the day, so I was quite well versed with the good cards, so I did much better in that one and went through and won and managed to get through. But so that was the qualification process, which I was slightly worried about beforehand because I knew the draft can be a bit random. And I was obviously travelling to Bratislava, where the event was held in Slovakia, from the UK, so I didn't really want to go all that way and not qualify. And actually some people, were unfortunate enough that they did travel, because the brilliant thing about the tournament was that it attracted people from all corners of Europe. There were, I think, 6 different nationalities represented over the course of the weekend. So it was, it did have a very kind of international feel to it. But obviously I was a bit nervous about going all that way and then twiddling my thumbs basically on Sunday, thinking, I'm going to end up, not qualifying. It could be feel like a real downer. But actually what they ended up doing on the Sunday, which I thought was really quite nice, was that for anybody who didn't manage to qualify for the actual nationals on the Sunday, they ran a kind of side event with the same format, so that they did a kind of, a tournament among people who didn't manage to qualify but were still there, running kind of alongside the actual nationals. But in reference to your earlier question, the thing you probably want me to talk about the most was the fact that the nationals themselves, about 3 weeks before the tournament was due to take place, the announcement came through that they were going to be held using the new Global Escalation format.
Yeah.
Which I know you had a bit of chat about on your podcast before.
Yeah, we've discussed Global Escalation quite at length, and we've been experimenting with it a little bit. It's a couple of weeks ago, I even said, I think on the recording, but if not, certainly privately between me and Andy, that I would have been a little bit blindsided to have a format announced just 3-4 weeks ahead of the event taking place.
It's fair to say that it caused me a fair degree of sleepless nights, I think, in the weeks leading up to it, because I just felt completely bewildered, because you're going from a relatively small card pool to about 3,000 possible viable cards that you could use.
Yeah.
There's no established meta, because no one's played a tournament using this format before. So it's really hard to know what to tech against and what kind of things you might expect. So it just came down to trying to work out, or guess really, what you thought was going to be strong and what you thought people would play over the course of the weekend. But the great thing about it was that there was a real variety of decks on display over the course of the weekend. I mean, I think you posted the team list from the Nats on your website.
Yes, we did, and I think that was largely anyone who was paying attention to those team lists, who were commenting on the social medias at the time, observed the same. I think we all noticed that actually, there was quite some really interesting stuff. One that particularly stood out. Apologies if you're listening, because I forget who played the team specifically. But there was an all-action team on the table.
The Satchel team.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a joy to behold, and thankfully not something I had to face.
Oh, okay.
I was not relishing the possibility of facing that, because he was using the kiln that captures stuff every turn.
Yeah.
And then was stopping people from basically doing anything. It was just shutting people down. I think they were finding it, really difficult to play against. So I was nervous at the prospect of facing that, because I didn't have any kind of anti-action tech.
Apologies. I was just going to say, so that's the sort of thing, though, sometimes at a nationals that can that can go the distance, because despite the fact it may not necessarily be the kind of platinum grade top tier team, the unexpected nature of it makes it quite strong, because people, like you say, aren't teched up against it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and Jesko, the guy who played it, I mean, hats off to him really, because he had the gall to play something completely unexpected. I don't think anybody would have been thinking, okay, what things might we face? Oh, well, maybe Collector, maybe Ultraman, maybe Fix It or whatever. But I don't think anybody was lying awake at night thinking, oh, I might play a Satchel team.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Very good. And speaking of Fix It, of course, he was the linchpin of your team.
Indeed, he was, yeah. Although to be honest, it's fair to say that it was a fairly last-minute decision to go for him. I had played a Fix-It team at the UK Nats.
Yes, you did.
Back in June, which you'll be familiar with.
Yeah.
It's possible we might have played each other. I don't remember what happened, but... sure. So I probably won easily.
For the benefit of the listeners, me and Spug had a little chat. I said I might give you some bants about beating you at the UK Nationals, and Spug here said, "Well, I think your report, the way you wrote it up on your website, is inaccurate. Actually, I think you're talking bobbins, mate." Which is why we're chuckling.
Was that a top 8?
No, it was in the Swiss.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I lost in the top 8 to Charlotte's Gold Dragon team.
Yeah, that's grim, that team.
At the UK Nats, yeah.
Yeah.
So that wasn't much fun, but yeah, certainly our face off in the Swiss at the UK Nats was a bit painful from my perspective. And we were saying beforehand how it's interesting how people will remember things slightly differently when look through their own kind of glasses. But
I'll be going back and reading it after we finish recording this evening. but I'm quite certain.
Over every word.
Yeah, I'm quite certain it was a decisive victory by the true Mr. Six. The Collector Nobby team demolished all fix-its in their way. No, I think I just
like you clinging on for dear life.
Yeah, that first game I think I took that quite strong, but the second game it was just rolling up bolts and I can't remember. I was killing something that was. What was I shooting?
I think Shriek probably.
Shooting your Shriek off, yeah, with batarangs and Magic Missile Global.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which was allowing me then to collect in my Shriek and blank your Fix-It. I've got a funny feeling it was something like that.
Yeah. It wasn't fun from my point of view. But so anyway, back to the
back to Global Escalation. Yeah, now that we've brought up my decisive victory.
So I had played a reasonable amount of Fix-It, obviously, in the lead up to UK Nats, but to be honest, I was never really very happy with that team that I played at UK Nats. But when it came to the Central European Nats, I was really heavily leaning towards playing a collector team, and I tested it quite a bit. Ben Said Scott had done some stuff with me. I played it a bit against James Bloor as well. I was feeling I liked the idea of playing something that was fairly flexible. You could use your own win cons, but you can also steal stuff from your opponent. It gives you options. Whereas Fix-It is very much a one-trick pony. But as James Bloor said, the trick that it has is a very good one.
Yes, no doubt, no doubt about
that. But what ended up happening was, I don't know if you feel like this, but it just feels like sometimes there are certain dice that, when the chips are down, they will not roll for you.
Blob.
And the collector, yeah, there you go. So that's
mine.
Your kryptonite, so to speak. Yeah, it feels like the collector was mine. He would never seem to roll when I needed him. And to such an extent, I was nearly, putting the dice on a firework and sending it into the night sky. It was driving me insane. But I was still nervous about playing Fix-It just because of the, it's not that hard to take against it. But in the end, over the course of the weekend, I've been testing with James. He'd been refining his Ultraman team, which I think Andy will be very familiar with.
I am indeed.
I think you were giving him a fair bit of tips leading up to the event itself, weren't you?
Did him really well. I bet he's really glad he listened to me now.
I don't think you would have recommended that he change out to the Powerbolt, though, would you? Was it Powerbolt?
That was partly my fault.
No, I thought Magic Missile.
Oh, I see. Sabotage.
No, it wasn't intentional. It's just the complete brain fart thing. But because as we were testing, I'd said to him, "What are you going to do if they play Raven Ring or something similar? That just kind of shuts down your targeting." And he ended up coming up with the idea of using Powerbolt. But it turns out that didn't work either.
No, because someone did play Raven Ring, didn't they?
Yeah.
And locked him down.
And he played them twice.
Yeah, he was very unlucky.
Bless his socks.
James was very unlucky. So I ended up basically, I think, hardly sleeping the night before, thinking, okay, what I'm going to play. And then on the morning itself, just quavering between playing Collector, playing Fix-It. And in the end, about 10 minutes before we were due to leave, I thought, okay, Fix-It is going to be. And I just kind of threw the pieces together that I thought would, that I'd been mainly using. And I think I actually took 9 cards plus a couple of basic actions and then settled on Rip Hunter as chalkboard instead of Parallax about 2 minutes before the actual event.
Yes.
So,
yeah, if folks want to head on over to the Dice Masters with James and Zach's YouTube channel, there's actually some video footage that James took of you in your Airbnb procrastinating over that last card and trying to dig out the dice, which was very, very entertaining. Yeah, so,
I like to give the final part of a very scientific process.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. But it turned out to be the right decision in the end,
Pretty much. Yeah, certainly Fix-It. Yeah, it was good. I was surprised that nobody else played it, actually. And I was surprised I didn't see any collectors, which was a bit surprising over the course of the weekend. But although I was in the final when I played Balázs from Hungary, played his Raven Ring, Venom, Scarlet Witch kind of lockdown team, I was very much regretting not having a Parallax when I could not roll. Hellfire Club to save my life through Scarlet Witch's action hate.
Yes, yeah. Although I find she could be a bit hit and miss for me, Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
I was playing her just the other night against your man Ben, and he just bought up as many actions as he could, to play the odds, and the odds caught up with me.
Yeah, they tell me that it's 75%.
That's
I'm not a master of probability, but you've got a 25% chance of rolling through her.
Yeah, I think that's what I remember from a podcast, not ours, another one I was listening to when that first came out. It's usually 75% chance that you'll roll your dice, but with her it's actually only 25.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Because it gets stuck. If you rolled it first time on energy, you can't re-roll. So.
I think the Scarlet Witch is just a staple now, though. Really, it has to be, because there's a lot of action stuff going on.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you for that, Spoke. Thanks for giving us the little talk through your team and what was going on at the Central European Nats. But now down to the real business of the evening, or the evening as we record this. It's time for you to lay down your score on the Ministry of Dice's The Bar. Ooh. So at this point here now, I'm going to hand over to my partner in crime, Andy England, aka former UK national champion.
Former.
Yeah.
It's nice to talk to another fellow national champion, actually.
Thank you very much. It is tiresome not having someone of our calibre to speak to on a regular basis. Or was it third, Chris?
Yes, yeah, third.
Yeah.
In the event where you came. Where did you come? Remind me where you came.
I can't remember, mate. Double digits. Right. Okay. So should we put the theme tune in about now?
Yeah, we'll put the completely copyright protected, perfectly safe theme tune in now.
Okie doke then. So, for anyone who's not listened before, it's the time for the bar. It is 2 minutes of quick fire questions. If you know the answer, shout it out. And if it's right, I'll say correct. If it's wrong, I will give you the correct answer. And if you want to play a bit tactical, save a bit of time. If you don't know, pass, and we'll move straight on to the next question. I have asked for your specialist subject beforehand, and we have got old school AVX as a set to run through. So, are you ready?
Yeah, I've got the timer ready. I've got my pen and paper to tally.
In the words of Starbuck, I'm not ready, but let's get this over with.
Nice
quote.
reference.
Great
I like
quote.
it.
Okay then.
Coffee. Right.
I'll give you some time shout outs as we go along, so you know where you're at as well.
Cool.
And also
Count us in, mate.
throw you off your game.
Thank you.
Okay. On your marks, get set, go.
What energy type is Cyclops?
Bolt.
Correct. What is the when fielded ability on Gambit Ace in the Hole?
Oh, draw 2 dice and roll them.
Oh, no, it is draw and roll a die.
Oh.
No special effects. No special effects. Just a low cost die with good numbers. Is
Ghost
the text.
Rider.
Correct. Which 2 sides of the Hulk die have bursts?
The level 1 and level 2.
Correct. What affiliation is Human Torch?
Fantastic Four.
Correct. Fuzzy Elf is the subtitle on which character's
Nightcrawler.
uncommon card? Correct. Thor, God of Thunder, gets +4 attack and +4 defense for each of character.
Fist.
Yeah, that's correct. Thank you. Venom has a global on each rarity on his card. Pay Fist to do
1 minute.
what?
To spin down an opponent's character.
Oh, close. Spin opponent's Fist character to level 1.
Oh.
What is the purchase cost of the rare Doctor Strange? Probably a charlatan.
7.
Correct. What is the colour of Iron Man's die?
Ooh, heck. Orange.
Oh, close. Yellow. Magneto has a global on 2 versions of his card. Pay Mask to do what?
To knock out
30
a
seconds.
villain. No, to re-roll a villain die.
Correct. What energy type is Silver Surfer?
Shield.
Correct. Wolverine, formerly Weapon 10, is an awesome card. What
Yeah.
does he get when he attacks alone?
+4A and +4D.
Correct. What is the colour of
10
Professor
seconds.
X's die?
A kind of clay colour, light brown.
3,
Oh, no, it's great.
2, 1. Done.
Can't Touch This is a subtitle of which character rare card?
Can't touch this. Character rare card. Oh man, I don't know. Let me just guess.
We're going to have to press you for an answer.
The Thing.
No, it's Rogue.
Oh yeah, of course.
Whoa. My
stressful.
word. That was an impressive performance.
Was it? I think I got loads wrong.
You didn't. No, there are definitely more tallies than crosses on my little piece of
Okay,
paper here.
okay,
Let's
okay,
count
good,
them
good,
up for you, shall we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
10.
Woo! That is a very good performance there, Mr.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, well done. 10 on AVX. I didn't know.
It could have been better.
I didn't know any of them. Gambit, I was like, would that make that better than die?
It was close.
That was an
It was annoying, yeah, because I could vaguely remember it, but not quite close enough. But I started to think that maybe AVX was the set that I knew the best, but at the same time, I've recently started to think maybe it's a bad idea because I basically haven't played with it for about 3 years, so it's a long way in the past now. But hey ho, but it turned out okay.
You're big fibber. You've been swatting up all week, haven't you?
If I beat Ben Said Scott, I'm happy.
What did Ben get? 8, was it?
There we go.
He'll be on to me if I've said that wrong.
I think you did get, yeah, no, you got 8.
8. Yeah, you did. You did indeed beat Ben.
It's easy to know.
Very good, very good. Okay, well done, Andy. You will be placed on the leaderboard, which is still out of date on the website, by the way, folks.
Right.
All entirely my fault, not Andy's. He's been updating it. I've just not been uploading it.
I religiously update it each time.
Yeah, no, you're really good, man. You're really good. So I will get the up-to-date leaderboard, but well done there, Andy. Excellent. Right, well, we'll wrap it up there in the interest of time. Thank you very much for coming on, having a chat with us there, Spug, and competing in the bar.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
It was a pleasure.
We will be back with another contender, sometime soon. when we've arranged someone. In the meantime, we'll move on to the next segment. Sad times, folks, sad times. This brings us to the end of yet another Ministry of Dice podcast. We hope you enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed recording it. Do we need to put anything in the outro now to wrap up?
No, if you've got any ideas for our Global Escalation teams, let us know.
Yes, absolutely. If you're a listener in Harlow in the United Kingdom, give us a shout.
Other than that,
any feedback or comments you want us to send Spug's way, let us know.
If you've got any in-depth Dice Masters questions that you're worrying about, then let us know, because we're here for you.
Actually, in fact, we're always regular listeners may recall some months ago we suggested an agony aunt service for your Dice Masters woes. So if anybody has got any Dice Masters troubles that they'd like to give us a shout, perhaps you've got a dice that doesn't roll like Spug's Collector or my Blob, then let us know and we can counsel you through it. Agony Aunt Andy and Uncle Chris are here ready to help you. All right, well, we'll be back in a fortnight. Go out on Mondays, guys, so keep a listen out 2 weeks on Monday. In the meantime, I've been Chris, a.k.a. True Mr. Six.
I've been Andy, a.k.a. .cotton.
You've done .cotton before, I'm sure you have.
No, I think I did Deirdre from...
Oh, you did! My mistake. No, that's on me. I got that wrong.
Deirdre Barlow / Rashid.
Yes, you are absolutely right. My mistake. How could I possibly confuse Coronation Street and EastEnders like that?
Yeah, you're from Manchester as well.
I know. Tell me about it. I'll be exiled. I'll have to move in with you or your mum.
Oh, no.
She'll put me up. All right, folks. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Ta-ra now.
Bye-bye.
mean, I suppose if only you had someone that you did a podcast with who lived like really close to the venue.
I'm sure I could sort something out.
Oh, just put him on the spot like that, bless you.
Stay in my mum's with my mum.
Yeah, well, I spoke it over with her, but she wasn't keen on the idea. She was entertaining someone else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.